Oh, there we go. Got it. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to a few of you. Welcome to today's community briefing. My name is Gregory Sneed, and you're in for a really great show. Our guest today is Kevin Michael Caliup, and he's got some wonderful information for you. Is in the areas of getting your family and life protected. So he'll be sharing more with us about that later. We are glad you're here. We're glad we're all safe. Prayers go out to our friends and contacts and networks that are in the state of Florida and Georgia and South Carolina, perhaps North Carolina. As the storm, as I was checking it out, is looking to head back out of the water. It may intensify, get back to a hurricane. So I know there have been some fatalities, and so we keep them in our prayers for the state of Florida. So a little bit about myself. My name is Gregory Sneed. Name of my company is Lifesaver Financial Services. I help my clients keep more of the money that they make, doing that through insurance solutions, financial coaching, and financial literacy training, because I firmly believe that when you feel better about your money, you feel better about your life. And now, back from Egypt, our
Mhm.
Egyptian African community briefing queen, Miss Crystal Mitchell.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be back. Happy and sad to be back. I miss my nieces. I had such a really amazing time. If you guys haven't done the Egypt trip, please do that because it was awesome. Hey, Miss Robin, good to see you. It was an incredible. The history, the connection, the people. The people are incredible. I stayed at an amazing hotel. You guys, you can if you go to my Facebook page, you pretty much will have joined me on my journey. I think my niece was someone that was asking me. I said, I think if I was not solo, you probably wouldn't have seen as much as I shared because I had no one else to share it with that spoke my language. So I had to share it with all of you guys. But I had a fantastic time. I've always dreaded long distance flying, going to Europe or anywhere because I just didn't think I could handle that 12 to 13 to 14 hour drive flight. Um, the comeback, I think the pilot took the longest route. He went all the way from Rome. He went from Cairo to Rome to Iceland, all the way through Canada, and then brought me back down through Wyoming. It's like, dude, I know there was a shorter way. So it was literally 18 hours coming back, but I made it back. So I'm glad to be back. This You guys know I'm Crystal Mitchell. I am the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars and the founder of the community briefing. This platform was created for you to meet our late leaders and stakeholders and to stay connected with each other, and so that we can make better decisions from information that's being shared with us firsthand. This platform is powered and supported by Recycling Black Dollars and the BBA, the Black Business Association, sponsored by Southern California Edison, Wells Fargo, somewhere in there, and Southern Cal and SoCal Gas. So thank you guys so much for participating. This is your platform, so please share, connect in the real form of recycling black dollars. We need to take that dollar from 6 hours to 24 hours to unlimited. And I think we can do that, people. I know we can do that. We just got to put our minds to it. So thank you guys for participating. Please continue to join us and share this platform. And with that, I will end. I want to thank our amazing team, Ms. Robin Billups, who is here. Yay, Robin! But
Hey,
she's being
Robin.
getting treatment right now. So let's continue to send prayers. Mr. Stephen Turner, amazing Mr. Producer, he does awesome bringing all the people in and making the arrangements. And Mr. Gregory Sneed, who is our MC and does a fantastic job of that, and in myself. So thank you guys all. We couldn't do this without each other. So I appreciate you all. And thank you guys for sharing and coming. Beverly, hi. Catherine, hi. And of course, Mr. Danger Man that's here with us every week when he's not doing some superhero stuff. So, and Miss Bianca, she's also here with us all the time. So thank you guys. So with that, Greg is back at you.
Yeah, thank you, Crystal. Yeah, I know about those long distance flights. I used to do that regularly back, but I was younger then, so it was a little easier. But I would have anywhere from 7 to 10 flights internationally yearly, and those 14-hour flights can be brutal.
I
So
couldn't even remember what day it was on Monday. I when I got back, I thought it was Tuesday. I was like, wait, do I have Zumba class? Wait, what day is it? So, but yeah, but I'm ready to go to Paris now.
yeah. And then when you travel to Far East, so we'd leave Saturday, you lose Sunday altogether, and you arrive Monday. So it's like whatever
Right.
Sunday. But then when you come back, you kind of gain it, kind of sort of. Anyway, so today our guest is Kevin Michael Caliup. Am I pronouncing it correctly, Caliup? Yeah, good, good. And he specializes in big business exit strategy, business insurance planning, and he's been doing that for the past 20 years. And it gives him the confidence to be able to service owners and employees. He is currently with New York Life. He's one of our guests that has done a lot of different things. And we sometimes we have a guest and they've done like one thing for 40 years. Who was that? We had one with Edison for 41 years and 42 years. And but Kevin has done a lot of stuff. He's currently with New York Life. He was with Cybin Group as a managing member. He is an independent advisory. He's been doing that for 12 years. Anderson Business Advisors as a senior business analyst. Nevada corporate headquarters in Las Vegas. So I think you're originally from Los Angeles, been living in Nevada for a while, now back in the state of California. He was with Intellectual Property Inc., Nevada corporate headquarters of the corporate analyst division, my ad man. He was, let's see, on the stewardship committee with Faithful Central Bible Study, Wells Fargo. He's been with the Black Business Association. Are you a pilot?
I am not a pilot.
Yeah, pilot. Okay. So I found
I'm
something that
learning
he
to
hasn't done.
sail, but not a pilot.
Okay. All right. So he's done. All right. So he's done the voting thing. So that's good. So please join me in welcoming to our virtual stage, Mr. Kevin Michael Caliup.
And thank you all. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to just share and be here with you. Thank you for the introduction. I talking with all of my colleagues and friends here, Crystal Mitchell, my. We go all the way back to the network where we were doing similar things, networking businesses together and just having them come out and have fun, Marina Del Rey. Stephen Turner and I sat on the board together at the Black Business Association and participated there quite some time. Robin Billups and I know her when she was there directing all those companies as to getting their paperwork right. And then Greg, my man, he is the man in Inglewood. And, you know, we kind of run a line in the same kinds of industries, but we both have a passion for the city of Inglewood. So he's my man as well. So thank you for being here. I just want to share today. I wanted to be able to deliver information that I think will be helpful from a business standpoint. My history, I'll start there. This is not about me. It's more about what I've done. Yes, I've done a lot of things. My vision is fewer families actually standing on the corner of Imperial and Vermont and other corners throughout our state with photographs and stuff talking about, please help me bury my loved one. My vision is to bring the information to awareness on how you can prepare for these things. And come on, you guys, let's stop thinking about this stuff as death insurance. That's not what it is. They call it life insurance for a reason. It will benefit you in your life. Now, put your checkbooks away because I'm not selling anything. All right. Now, my mission, I intend to impact financially 240 families a year. I intend to impact $25 million in underprivileged neighborhoods a year. I can do that by myself. Just meeting with families just like this, meeting with business owners just like this, on video Zooms and sharing with them the concept, the theory of once. Once is a word. Once is also an acronym. Once is what I've been shared, learned, and have been training the last 12 years over in Las Vegas area. Yes, I digress. 2008, Wells Fargo was approved to buy Wachovia, November 2008. I know exactly because I resigned my Wells Fargo Bank officer's position in December 2008. And I left and went to Vegas. In doing so, the strategies that I want to share with you are going to impact how you run your business. They're going to help you know that you have your paperwork ready and look about sustainability. But more importantly, have you start thinking about something like your exit plan. Just like our lives, your business, there's a life of a business. It's born, it starts with an idea. That idea then says, okay, let's take a look and see, is this idea valuable? Is this idea really a business, or is it just a hobby that I want to run? Now, when we think about the businesses that we run, talking about sole proprietorship, LLC, corporation, either an S corporation or a C corp, there's a lot of divisions there. But when we talk about taxation, this is where this stuff really comes in important because, you know, why are we doing this? Why are we working so hard? All the money we make will end up in someone else's hands. It will. And as we plan for our business life, a couple of quick questions you've got to ask ourselves. How? How long do I want to do this as an entrepreneur? What's the sustainability of this business? How long do I want to work? How? How much money do I have, and will I outlive my money? I know if you're like me, that's a concern. I don't want to outlive my money. I want to continue to live the lifestyle that I have. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy giving of myself to communities and others. So these kind of things are part of my life, and I don't want that to change. So I need to know that there are resources available to do that. We help people plan for those kind of things. When we think about an exit plan, like as I'd look at the logo behind you, BBA, Black Business Association, being on the board of directors, being the treasurer, being the parliamentarian, watching it go and grow, watching my dear friend Earl Skip Cooper give up himself for as long as I knew. I mean, I started in 97. Exit plans, they're very, very, very important. We have to have an exit plan in place for those that are giving of themselves. There's got to be some type of, I don't know, executive compensation that might help in their life as they exit the life of community service. Muhammad Nasruddin, my dear friend, gone way too early. I wasn't working with him in this way. We were doing stuff like change banks and stuff and really talking about moving money. So we're asking the question is, where's your resources? Where is your money? And is your money working for you? So let's take a look at a couple of things. This book that I read that I want to share, and that's what I'll be doing. I'll just share stuff with you. This one is called, I don't know if you can see it, Start with Why.
Good book.
Simon Sinek. If you know why you do what you do, You never work a day in your life. Okay, so I'm going to go back to why. My why is I'm a middle kid of blue collar workers. Back then, I had to find my own way. They called us latchkey kids, if you will, with very little supervision and very little parents hanging around to tell us what to do. At 15, my two best friends were my 38 and my 32. I lived in South Central LA. By 17, I changed the 38-32 for a 35 millimeter camera, learning photography in high school. And that was then, and this is one of the key points. First of all, you got to decide. I decided I'm going to be a businessman with no guidance, no mentors. I just decided I'm going to do it because I didn't want to do the other thing anymore. I knew that girls and babies would pay me to take their pictures in Southern California. I knew I was already a pretty good DJ and a guy that was a pretty good MC. So my first company, Who Crew Entertainment Company, I didn't know who my crew was going to be, but if you let me book the gig, you're going to have a great time. Why is that important? It goes back to belief. You got to believe you can. And then in believing you can, here's the thing with organizations that are out there like this, they want to see you succeed. They want to help you succeed. We'll give you the guidance to succeed, but you got to participate. I say volunteer. That's a great place to start. Great place to start. Because if we ask ourselves, since I was 21, I asked myself this question, and I've asked it of countless of others. What will you do with your time when you're not chasing a dollar?
Mm.
What will you do with your time? I'm not saying you're rich, but you have all your needs met. A lot of your wants are handled. And then at that point, you can do whatever you want. You could do nothing all day if you want. But you got to do something. My great uncle told me in 1999, he said, Kevin, as long as I have something yet to do, I'll keep getting up. He was born in 1899, which meant he was 100 when he told me that. Part of his getting up was going to play bridge with the little young girls at the senior center. Now, mind you, they're 75 and 80. To him, they're still young girls. Why do I tell you that? Because a thing in motion will stay in motion. A thing at rest will stay at rest. And if you don't keep moving, you will. If you're like me and you have people that are aging, 70 years old and older, if they start falling, start paying attention more, please. It's these kind of conversations that I have every day. Because these kind of things say, hey, if you're engaging them, calling them, having others call them, that keeps their mind sharp. Thinking about who is caring for them. Is it a family member? Is it a contacted individual? Who is that person? If you're like me, those that know, I'm caring for my mother. She's 83. Her older sister is 85. The stark difference between them, yeah. My aunt was always moving. She's a real estate investor, self-made millionaire, still thinking of ways to make money now. Keep your brain sharp. Keep thinking. Keep going. Now, again, I didn't come here to do anything other than to ask us to consider these things. How do I want to live? Consider this. I came from Nevada, tax-free Nevada. I made the choice. I came back to all tax California. Guess why I want to talk to you about taxes? Because I made the choice to come back. And I did not worry about it because I knew of tax strategies that would help me not have to be concerned about that. I'm going to try to share my screen here and tell me, can you see that?
Yes.
Terrific. So what we're looking at here is just like any other planning, estate planning, tax planning, it's all the same thing because they all interact. every dollar we work for, we earn, there's 3 buckets that it's going to end up in. It's either tax now, tax later, or tax free, or tax never. So what I'll do is go up here to the start at tax now, and I have the wrong form open. But I'll just talk to you about it. Because when we think about the word once, can I do an exercise? Let's just do this. This will be fun. If you have a piece of paper and something to write with, I'll show you the Reader's Digest version of estate planning. Start at the top of the page, write the word once, O-N-C-E, period. Each of those have a period behind it because it's a word, but it's also an acronym, and I'd like you to underline it. This is what the wealthy people I learned to hang out with and consulted with in Nevada, this is what they do. If we do this right, we only have to do it once. Once is an acronym for own nothing and control everything. Now, part of the way we did this is we shared with people moving assets and then sometimes moving your residence so that you can plan for your tax strategy for your money. When we talk about this next drawing, go to the bottom of the page, make a big rectangle. Standing on top of the rectangle is a stick person. That's you. I can do this instead. I'll stop share. And then take this out. And then I will choose background and none. Great. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Great. I'll do this part. All right. So once. Own nothing, control everything. You then have a big box. This is me. This is my partner. I have a house. Triangle represents your house. I have the squiggly line. This represents all my money, checking, savings, everything. Then I have a business. I have life insurance. I have retirement. And then there's LTC for long-term care. Can you guys see that so far?
Yep.
Okay. So this RLT is your estate plan. Now remember, we're talking about taxes. I don't want to take all of my efforts and have it go to the state. Between Marie and I, there are 4 loved ones. We want this stuff to go to them without probate. So the house is in the revocable living trust. Your bank accounts become titled into the name of the Caliup family trust. Sorry about that, folks. We're gonna have to tell them. That's funny. I'm gonna do that. Hey, Mom, I'm doing a presentation. Gotta call you back, okay? Thanks. That's my rich mom. I love her too. Huh? So the stuff in the trust, my house, my bank account, your checking and savings account, all your money, your debit card and everything will be retitled into the name of the trust, but you don't have to reorder checks. They're all going to look the same, but the bank knows it's in the name of the Caliup family trust. My business, this is where it gets tricky. Am I running a sole proprietorship or what? So what I want to do is take this business out, and this is where its separation comes in. Run that business as an LLC, me as the manager. This is where I tell my clients, get comfortable saying these words. I just work here. Because if I work at McDonald's as a manager and I owe $40,000 in back taxes, can they come and take that money out of the bank account? No, they can't, because it belongs to the company. I just work there. Now, ownership is determined by, just like in a corporation, they have stock certificates. An LLC has membership certificates, and you just simply, like a check, You issue the LLC certificates to yourself, and then you flip it over like a check, and you endorse ownership from yourself to your trust. Does that make sense? Okay. So then my life insurance is going to say beneficiary of the trust. Any of my retirement is going to have beneficiary of the trust. Long-term care, that's really just to help me while I'm alive. But all of this avoids this big ugly word, and I'll do this one in red. We want to avoid this like the plague. Probate. Now, talking about probate, that's personal, but I wanted to do that because it also has the same impact on your business. What's your succession plan? Are you a sole business owner? Do you have partners? Is one of the partners going to buy you out? What happens if you no longer are able to run the business? In my case, I have 4 kids between us and only one entrepreneur. She's doing her thing. The other 3 don't want to do business at all. So what happens to my business that I'm building? I have to have a plan for that. More importantly, I got to have an exit plan. Walk back into the office. Thank you. And that exit plan portion, I think, really speaks to where's our lazy money? Our lazy money is sitting in, I'm a key employee because I work here. If there's someone like an office manager that's been with you for a long time, that's a key employee. Don't you want to reward them for all of their efforts? There are people that have no awareness of any of this information. Wouldn't it be better as you as the employer to say, hey, listen, I have an addition to my benefits package that has some financial literacy. I'm doing this because I want to help you and your family. I want to know that you guys know this stuff. And that part, the formula for success is simply to have your paperwork right. It's the same stuff that we talk about all the time on this platform. How's your business structured? What do your financials say? This is where your balance sheet, profit and loss, all that stuff comes in play. I mean, and I would tell you that as a former banker with Wells Fargo, the first thing any banker is going to ask is, let me see your financials. And I know even Crystal has helped me in that area. These folks are here to help. Questions? Anything at all?
Kevin, if I was an employee, not an entrepreneur, my retirement plan is kind of set up based upon the company that I work for. So I kind of have an idea what that looks like. But as an entrepreneur, it's a little bit more sketchy. So what should be some of the processes for the entrepreneurs, especially if they left work somewhere in like a 10-year span, but now they have the balance up until retirement age of 72, 80, whatever you want to retire. What should be some of the steps that they should be doing?
That's a great question. And first and foremost, I would want to ask more questions. Um, Understanding what are they doing as an entrepreneur, how their business is set up. Again, like how long do you want to run that business? How can I set up an executive compensation plan in this business operation that you have that says we can take this money and set it aside as a deferred compensation where you will be taxed on it later. And then there are strategies where after-tax dollars can move into a deferred taxation growth period. And then you could borrow that money out tax-free and use it for other things that are important, like equipment purchases and things of that nature. It really becomes a listening session first, because there may be an old 401k or some type of, school districts, the plans that you left, and no one's
Mhm.
really managing for you. Well, there's an opportunity to roll that over. Like in real estate, there's a basis. There's a 1031 exchange in real estate. It's
Mhm.
the same kind of thing with this, where it's called a 1035 exchange, where it's a hands-off transaction. You're just moving the money from one place to another, moving value from one place to another. You didn't touch it, so there's no taxation. In doing so, that taxation piece is deferred.
Okay. Yeah, I have
And
some friends that have been entrepreneurs their whole entire life, and one of my recent a friend or colleagues just turned 65, and I was talking to them about the process and what happens when you turn 65, and so he was like, "Yeah, I don't know how that works," and I said, "Well, they'll contact you or you'll contact them," and he goes, I've never held a job for anyone other than myself." I was like, "Oh."
oh, 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 wow.
In
See,
his
now
whole
that
entire
part,
life, he's never worked for anyone. And so, of course, there was no preparations. I mean,
see,
obviously, he makes good money, so he don't need to worry. I mean, he don't need to worry about it from that standpoint. But I think from entrepreneurs that are starting very early on and have never really held a employed type job, what does
right.
that look like for them? Do they have to set up their own retirement plan? Do they have to set up their own Social Security, their own Medicare, their own? What do they need to do?
I would say yes, 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 and yes. If you don't have your own as an entrepreneur, here's a couple other things that are going on. You're not paying into Social Security. You're not taking that 15.3, 15.7 out to go and pay that in every month, every paycheck. You're not. So guess what? There will be no Social Security for you. You haven't paid in, so you don't get anything out. So there's that part. In addition to when we talk about pay yourself first, that's where it speaks to your own private plan. You have to have your own plan. What are we doing all of this for? Why are we working so hard? So when we think about that, we look at budgets and we ask, well, what are you using your money for now? How much do you need? And then we factor that to say, how much will you need in the future, adjusted for inflation and that kinds of stuff. And then we set a plan in motion that says, okay, let's just use an easy number, $500. If you use $500 a month into this vehicle, it's another tax code. It's called 7702. Everyone knows 529, 401k, 403b. They know those. You don't know 7702 because it isn't shared with us in that way. The 7702, I'm shifting to another side of my office. Just if you know me, I just keep moving. I'm everywhere. So we'll walk through the office and go to a different space.
So
Um,
while you're walking, here's a question: what type of trust would you recommend um, to use as one of those do-it-yourself tools, such as LegalZoom? Also, asking if you feel that this is a good time to pull money from your savings or 401k since we're losing money now.
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, so and I'm going to answer that in a couple of different ways. The first part, the trust. You can get anyone to do a trust. Um, they can be varied in cost, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 swing in the price difference. Okay. Um, do you know enough about trust? Do you know the components? Let me just do that right up front. Your revocable living trust should include all of these components. You need your will, your living will, your healthcare directives. You need the revocable living trust, which is a separate component. And then you have your guardianship documents of anyone that is underage or that might need special care. That is a full-on estate plan. And in that, it also is going to take into account, considering you're a business owner, How is that business structured? How is it owned? And we need to bring that into the estate plan as well. Okay, but we can obviously have conversations about that offline. The next part of that question was, what are we doing now that moving money out of my savings? Well, if it's savings accounts, like at one of the big 5 major banks, um, well, I guess you have it there for safety factors, but you're not really earning a lot. So I would consider what are alternatives that I might be able to move my money into a different vehicle that could grow faster and safe without moving it into the market. Because of course, right now, those that are looking at their 401k and their retirement accounts that have been plummeting, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Yes, I know the natural reaction is to run, want to, pull out, but where are you going to go? I mean, we have places for you to go, but the average person doesn't have these financial conversations. So they don't know where to go, and they sit there and let their money sit in that fund and watch it deplete because of market conditions. There are vehicles where you can protect your principal, move it into a 7702 program where your principal is protected. You will not lose your initial money. And then, of course, in the upside, you'll do that appreciation. You'll get that. And you'll only pay the difference on your gain. If there's a loss like we're seeing and things are plummeting, it will never lose your principal. Now, had I been in the marketplace 6 to 9 months ago showing this vehicle, a number of people would still, be in pretty decent shape. But this is why I wanted to come out, because there are things, there are conversations we have to have now. This is one of them. What do we do? Do we just let your money sit there and let it ride? Well, it's a strategy. You could wait it out. But if you're old like me, I don't have a whole lot of time. Because I got 25 years earmarked for just playing. I'm going to work for 10 hard years. And then the next 25, I'm going to play. Yeah, I plan on being around over 100 years. Now, let me share something else with you. I was talking with Stephen about this. There's this thing that's coming, and I'm just monitoring the time. And I want you folks to really listen to this part. It's something that's called sunset provisions. And it all relates back to taxation. Now, I don't care one way or the other what you think about the former president, but he's done something that no other president has done ever. He has something that is called a sunset provision on these tax reductions that were implemented while he was in office. Well, it won't matter, Republican or Democrat, who's in office. It won't matter. It won't matter who the president is at all. 2025, 2026, these the sunset will go down. Just like when the sunset goes down, you don't see it anymore. Guess what? You won't see these tax credits, tax savings, tax percentage reductions anymore. And that means taxes have to go up. Plus, we have this deficit and we're printing all this extra money. And how do you control hyperinflation? You got to raise taxes. So if these are the traditional ways things are done, and they are, if we're paying attention, we know what's coming. Taxes are going to be increased regardless. Don't care who's in office, you're going to pay more. And then if you have a very, very successful business at 5 million or more, there's just a threshold number you hit, and we're just going to hit you with an additional 10%. And then these numbers, you can control how much you pay. Take it out of the first bucket, the tax now. You've already been taxed on it. Move it into one of the other buckets. And I help people with that kind of stuff. I hope I answered the question.
So I always talk to my clients about having a team that will help them be successful in their business, and that includes their attorneys, that includes their, from a business standpoint, their attorneys, their
Yes,
CPAs, but from a personal standpoint, they need a team as well. So
absolutely.
would that who would that be? Financial planner, advisor, retirement plan advisor? Who would be that team for you on your personal side?
Well, on a personal side, you file taxes. So even if you have H&R Block doing your taxes, if you go to the same person, that's your tax person. See, a lot of times we as community members think about these things for someone else. We think about these things as, oh, that's what those people have. People who have more than me. I don't have enough to be worried about that. But you do. You file your taxes, you have an advisor. If you own a home, that says you have a mortgage. You went to a bank. Is your bank the same bank as you do your banking day to day with? I don't know. But yeah, you got to have a banker because when you need something, it's all about relationship. It's still who you know, who knows you, and what they think about you. It's still, do you have your paperwork correct? So, with regard to uh, advisors, tax, legal, banking, and an overall person that would know something about a will and or estate planning,
Okay.
because that then gives you the go-to. Because when I work with my clients, I ask them, okay, now that we've done this for you, tell me who are the people that need to know what we've done so I can let them know, hey, I'm your advisor. They've taken care of this and they wanted you to know you're named in here as someone that's going to help them should something happen to them. So we do that deep dive with them as well.
Okay. There's a question, Kevin. Do you have any success stories of clients you help with their financial planning that you can share?
Yeah, here's one of my favorites. And this comes back to the BBA. Uh, this was 2005. This guy's name was Bubba. Bubba and Gloria. Bubba ran the SkyCap services. Gloria ran the wheelchair services out at John Wayne Airport. Contract procurement. Turns out someone was competing, trying to take their contract away, and they needed help. Skip says, "This guy Bubba gonna call you. Help him. Listen to him." I listen to him. If y'all know Skip, that's how Skip talk. All right. Uh, anyway, so Bubba comes over to the house in Baldwin Hills. We're sitting in the backyard. He tells me a story. Long story short, I say, look, I've learned some stuff that'll help you. Know what I learned? Competitive advantage. Know where I learned it? These organizations like this. So long story short, what I did was I split their company into two. I made his a minority-owned business enterprise and got him certified. Hers was a minority business-owned enterprise and woman-owned business enterprise, got him certified. Then I went out to John Wayne Airport knowing nothing about the airline industry. I just know business. And I pitched 13 executives from each of the airlines that their money was more valuable, even though it seemed higher than the guy that you wanted to get the contract. Hey, I know you guys want your friend to get the contract. Here's the deal. Read paragraph 14 on page 7. You'll see that those certifications make their money so much more valuable to you that you cannot refuse this contract. They looked, they read, they learned, they found out I was right. We won. 2005, $1.7 million contract for 3 years. Now that rolled over from 2005 to 2011 to 2014. I'm still here. Now, ultimately in 2014, I was not able to advise them to competitively keep the contract because there's that life of your business that I was talking about earlier. We had reached the point where it just did not make sense for him to try to compete any longer. I would not advise you to take the money out of your home personally. You have a wife, you have a teenage kid. He's getting out of high school. He's going to want to go to college. Don't throw that money in this sinking business. You can't compete. So what do? The right thing to do is advise the employees who won't be here. Start letting them know 2 months in advance. Tell them go look for a job. Even go over to the company that's competing to take the contract because we're not going to be here. That's the right thing to do. I don't know, 1.7 times 4 consecutive years. I think that was a successful one.
That would have been. Yeah, also, Kevin, you earlier in your when you were introducing yourself, one of the things that I have found from some of the organizational heads, especially the founders of organizations, they did not protect themselves.
Mm,
Muhammad was not
I
prepared
know,
to die at the time, at the
I
age he
know.
did, and so he had nothing in place for that.
Right.
And so I do think it's very important for those of us that operate nonprofits that we have to take
Yes.
care of ourselves. We have to be able to take care of our families. We can put all this great work into our communities and helping everyone else, but a lot of our leaders that run organizations have not done that. What is your opinion and thoughts on that?
I'll come straight out with it. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts me to have been there with that organization for as long as I have and see that at the end of it all, there was nothing in place. It hurts that we aren't having enough of these financial conversations so that people understand it's not that complex. So what does that mean? We've got to have conversations. We've got to start talking. Um, and my experience is as I was learning to listen, that's really where it comes down to, kind of like a doctor, physician. Hey, tell me where it hurts. How long has it been hurting? What have you tried? I've worked with others that had that pain. I prescribed this. They did that and they got better. So it really starts with listening. The question is, what does the executive board feel about contributing and or building some executive compensation? Because
Yeah.
in my experience, most people in these positions like yours, these folks don't get paid.
Mm-mm. No, no, because
I
most of it's
found
going
that.
back out unless they have their own businesses on the side, like I do. But most cases
Right.
that's not the case. But I also, it's not just our communities. When we look at entertainers that are died without wills and trusts, and they've
Yes.
made large sums of money, and then everything goes into probate. So I don't know if that's just us as people. I
No,
don't understand that part.
it's not just us as people. It's just it's a conversation that people don't have often enough. Um, Part of the way I've been sharing this message is this: if I can help you form your mind once, then we will have achieved your goals for a number of areas of your life. Form mind once. They're all acronyms. They all tell me how to speak with you. Speaking and listening to you using the form mind once, you will tell me about your family, about your occupation, about your recreation, and what's your message. What do you want to do when you quit? You'll tell me about your mind. What do you know about money? How do you make your money and how long has it been there? How long will it continue? What information do you need to help you get what you think you don't have already? Then we do a deeper dive talking about budget. What do you need? That's what you're spending every month. You've got to have your needs met. Then the last letter D in mind is your desires. What do you desire? What do you want that you don't have? Because it usually comes with another D, debt. But that's not a bad thing when you plan for it. So it all goes back to the same thing. Planning, 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 planning. You gotta have a plan. My goal is to sit down with, as I mentioned earlier, 240 families. That's not a lot. Not. That's 20 families a month. Doing video Zooms, I can meet 3 people a week. I mean, 3 people a day. 3 times 5, that's 15. Okay, so I got to do 4.5, 5 people a day on the videos of just sharing information. And how do I impact that 25 million? If I get 240 families to understand the value of protecting their legacy, providing them the support and the direction for their estate plan and revocable living, passing on all my hard work to my loved ones. I will impact any zip code by 25 million because that's 240 times 100,000. Do 250,000, then the numbers go even better, even faster. I hope I answer your questions because me, this stuff, I could go on and on and on.
No, you have. Thank you so much. There's one thing before we wrap up. You and I talked about this, and many of us have already been through this or will be going through this, is the caring of our elderly
Mm,
parents. It can be very costly. And
yes.
I think I know our parents may not be able to afford the long-term health care, but we as their children should look at what that looks like before your parents get ill, because that cost is going to be reflect. You're going to pick up that cost if your parents are not. So, what would be some of your suggestions and recommendations there for those of us, and every one of us are going to be in a position, if you have not already been, where you're going to be taking care of a loved one or
Well,
loved
and
one.
thank you for that piece. And I will like to wrap up there because it is speaking to a passion of mine, which is legacy. These loved ones that are aging, they have given everything and all. And now, um, it's a horrible picture to describe, but we come into the world in diapers and we leave the same way. It is embarrassing and it is not easy for a mother to have to deal with her son having to do some of the things you have to do when you're caring for your aging loved ones. If you're not able to do it, you have to have someone that'll do it. And that person should be doing it from a compassionate place because otherwise it's work. And it's work that they're not getting paid for. And ultimately working that I'm not getting paid for gets you frustrated. And that's where elderly people get abused. And we don't want that. So what does that do? That says then I got to get professional help. I'm just going to give you the stark numbers. Nationwide, $9,000 a month. California is a lot higher, 15 on average. And if you depend on what zip code you choose, it could be even more. So then that causes you to think about, well, what kind of job or what kind of company am I running? What kind of money am I making? Do I have that extra 108,000 to 125,000 setting aside? But more importantly, what about me? I might need that. 72% of Americans are going to need long-term care of some sort. I'm not talking about getting old. I'm saying you go out on the weekend, play a pickup basketball game, and you crack your ankle. Now you're down for 6 to 8 weeks. That's long-term care. Kind of disability, but yeah. And we prepare for that by spending pennies now to open a big pool of dollars to you. And I'd absolutely love to talk to people about that because nothing that I do costs money. I don't charge for my time. We have the CPAs, attorneys, and all the folks here with me. We don't charge for that time. I'm just here to be a resource and do exactly that. Have conversations. Say, what do you need to know? Let's talk about it.
All righty, Kevin, thank you so much. You've been a lot of great information. So if you guys are in any of those positions, you definitely need to reach out to our professionals that are here that are capable of doing that. That Mr. Kevin Caliup, as well as Mr. Gregory Sneed, that's his space, and Stephen Turner. All of them are actually in that
See,
risk management space. So reach out
and
to them. It's better to be prepared than to have, yeah, as Kevin said, be those individuals that's on the corner because you didn't prepare
thank
yourself
you.
with a sign to take care of your loved ones. And there's a lot more before you even get to that. So, um,
Well, I did not put my number in the chat yet, but I will give you my virtual assistant. It's Lisa. I'll just tell you it's 323-307-8255. 2228.
What was
Again,
that? 323?
323 307
Mm-hmm.
2228.
And
And the
Lisa.
wonderful Lisa. Yeah, Lisa's wonderful. She can take all my calls and let me know what's important. And then send you a link back to my calendar if you want to just do a one-on-one. We'll just talk and listen for 30 minutes at a time.
All
Put your
righty.
checkbook away because I'm not selling. I just want to hear where's the pain and I want to help you ease the pain.
All righty. Well, thank you, Kevin. We so appreciate it. Stephen, you want to tell us who's here next week?
Yes, I'd like to. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Next week, you like the things that Kevin and Caleb has shared with you. Wait till you hear next week. What we're going to have from Enterprise Partners, the one and only Jamar Wilson, who's going to talk about not only affordable housing, but some of the developments that have taken place in our community and our own backyard. Everything from commercial to residential. So tune in next week on the community briefing.
Okay. All righty, guys. So you've heard it. This video will be, the show will be broadcasting and streaming live on Facebook as we speak, and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel very shortly. So check that out as well as any other shows that you may have missed. Kevin, thank you so much for contributing and sharing. We so appreciate
Hey,
you.
I just love you guys. I love community. It's great to be back in Southern California and be able to just reconnect and bring all the good that you guys have been doing to be able to participate in that. And then Inglewood, we see a lot going on. A whole lot good is continuing. So Greg and I are gonna be out there doing that stuff because we love that city, right, Greg? High five.
Inglewood.
Inglewood, and also Miss Robin Billups, before she left, she wants to remind everyone we are 1 month, as of Saturday, we are 1 month from elections, and voting is very important. So I think we're going to be bringing some people on that can help us decipher through some of the propositions and things. Are very important that everybody get out and vote, though. This is an important election. There's a lot of stuff riding on it that's going to carry into the next big election. So please go out and vote. Your vote counts. And as you can see, there are people trying to take that opportunity away from you. So I always say, if anybody's trying to take something away from you, it means it has value. So protect your right to vote. Make sure your children are voting and they understand what they're voting for. And read. Start doing your research now, guys. Just don't check boxes. Read the small print because everything is riding on it right now. There's a whole lot of riding, especially for people of color. So with that, I want to, Greg, anything you want to share?
No, just there's a lot of propositions. I've got to do my research on it because there's a lot of money being spent on Prop 26, Prop 27, Prop 30, and on both sides. So, if they're spending that kind of money, there's a lot of money behind it. So you got to do your research there and figure it all out, as well as the down ballot. Everybody gets focused on the big office, but it's important to know what's happening out there. So. I don't know where we are in terms of the deadline to register. I'm hoping and optimistic that everybody on this call is registered to vote. And the last results I've seen is that voting results are somewhere in the low 20 percentages. So that means only 2 out of 10 registered voters are voting, and in our community. So that is just deplorably low, and we can do better. That's it.
And I will have to say to everyone, I just came from a country where there's not a lot of input from the citizens of the country, and you can actually see the results of that in the country. We are very blessed. I don't know anyone else has traveled to a third world country. You don't know how important it is for you to have a voice in what goes on in your world, especially as a woman. I saw some things that you hear it, but to actually see it in person is a whole different ball game. And there are a lot of propositions, and including that's taking away choice from women, and taking away our control. So we have to make sure that we recognize how blessed we are in this country, where we do have a vote and we do have a say. So don't take that for advantage, and be emphatic with the people around you. But if you don't believe me, go to a third world country and see what that means to you, and what it means to them. And when they look at us and they talk to me, and when they were talking to me as an American citizen, like, United States is like the number one place, because you guys have opportunity. We have no opportunities in our country, and we're very poor, and we have no way to change that status. So just know that, guys. If I didn't take anything away from that, that's what I took away from there, is that we're very blessed to be in this country, and we need to speak up and make sure we're protecting ourselves. So with that, I want to thank you guys for joining us today. And please come back next week, and please share the video, and go to our Facebook page, to our group page, and like us, and to the YouTube channel, and like the segment. So thank you guys. Have a great one. Renee, I will call you, and Catherine, thank you, and it's good to see you. And Michael Browning and Emma Maxine. Emma, hope all is well. How's the foot? Foot good? Okay.
Crystal, can I just say I launched for Nappy in the chat? So everyone's welcome to join us as we launch the National Association of African American Parents and Youth on Saturday at 12 noon.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All righty, everyone. Have a great one. Bianca, I'm going to be calling you. I want you on our show that we're doing on coming up in October. All right, guys, have a great one. Be safe out there. Prayers for everyone that is have family members in the Florida in line with the hurricane. So blessings.
Blessings, peace and blessings.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
He voted down help for Sandy 9 years ago. So he's changing his tune now.
Whoa, because this one was, they said this was the worst one they have ever seen come through. Just a wall of water came through Florida. I don't know. Yeah. Me, myself, I would be already packed up and leaving Florida. I just could not deal with a hurricane every year. Just sorry.
DeSantis and Rubio both voted down assistance money for Hurricane Sandy victims 9 years ago.
Wow.
And now DeSantis is going to have his hand out looking for money for Florida. So just what goes around comes around.
Oh, comes around. Well, he's been doing a whole lot of stuff that this could be retribution, unfortunately, for his behaviors, because he's a nut job.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Talk to you soon. See you next week.